Hello, I'm Alex Pearson in for Michael Corrin. Well, they've been running an illegal safe injection site for 12 years. Now, Vancouver Health Centre is hoping the feds will allow them to continue shooting people up. Ada Slavinsky, Sun News contributor, joins us in Vancouver. They clearly, Ada, have not been following the rules. So why do they think they should still be able to run this place?
Well, Alex, this safe injection site, as they call it, or as you say, a heroin shooting gallery, has been operating for 12 years. And we only found out now that they didn't have the okay from the federal government because Vancouver Coastal Health put out a press release saying that now they're going to be filing one. So I gave the center a call and I asked, how did you think that you had this? And Maxine Davis, she's the executive director at the center. Here's what she had to say about that.
It was a combination of communication with Health Canada. Health Canada even came 1 year later for a visit, a review visit. And actually, in some ways, who's responsible for that is almost, for us, not the focus.
Really?
But for the rest of Canadians really do want to know who's responsible here. And when you look at safe injection sites, the federal government is the one who makes the criminal code that deals with this, but it's the province who actually has to enforce it. And we've seen from Premier Clark that she's actually in favor of safe injection sites, and I'll just play for you what she had to say.
We're going to continue to offer these services, and as long as we can demonstrate the benefit, we have the support of our provincial government, we believe we're on very solid ground.
Okay, right. So loopy bureaucracy kind of will make our own rules as we go on. And if we get caught by the bureaucracy, which doesn't seem to be doing its job in checking, and, well, it doesn't matter. We don't have the same kind of rules. I mean, they just seem to be running their own show.
And that's what we've seen with the crack pipe vending machines, which was the story that I brought you a few days ago, that there's clear criminal code saying this is not okay, this is illegal, in fact, selling paraphernalia for drugs, and yet the police are saying they won't do anything about it. The provincial government hasn't stepped in and said, we're going to do something about it. So the only way that one of these facilities or one of these machines is going to be shut down is if a private individual, a private group files some kind of charge here.
Yeah, but I think what's ended up happening is lobbyists and those with an agenda, or, I mean, they know that they can find loopholes within legal circles. They know that they've got the rulings of the Supreme Court of Canada on their side, so they know that they can push the laws and be protected by something as simple as political correctness. No one seems to want to really touch this issue because, well, the courts will step in and tell them otherwise.
And that's what the argument is from people like Mark Townsend from the Portland Hotel Society. He's saying the stats show, the facts show that harm reduction works. Therefore, the government isn't going to do anything about it. The provincial government isn't going to step in. But when he's talking about these facts, it's a lot of words like I believe and I feel, and it's a complicated issue, right? Drug addiction, he says, is a complicated issue. And Mark was actually talking with Jerry Agar here on our network earlier today.
It was concluded that they probably do need to get one, so they're just doing their housekeeping by now applying for their exemption. Because really, until you go to the Supreme Court, sometimes these questions are hard to answer.
Housekeeping.
Yeah, I mean, look, they've got an agenda, and they're very organized in making sure they get their messaging right, they use the right language to get the loopholes built that they need in order to move forward with it. Peter MacKay spoke out today saying that these vending machines shouldn't be operating, and yet we've got them in Vancouver. I'm pretty sure they're still operating. Now they're moving into places like Ottawa.
There's definitely a push, Alex, to bring them to Ottawa, and actually, advocates in the drug community say that if police were to find out, if they were to put these machines in and police were to find out, they don't think that police would do anything about it. So it's just really a matter of time. And we've seen with places like Insight, Montreal has applied for an Insight facility. So you know, don't kid yourself. This is moving forward. People who are advocating for harm reduction facilities are getting their way here. And whatever the federal government has to say, they haven't been successful in stopping any of this.
No, and police will argue that unless they know that they can get a conviction out of it, they are not going to bother laying charges. It's like, you know, do you charge the guy walking down the street smoking a small joint? I mean, they don't want to waste their time on that. So it really begs the question. We need to change drug laws in this country, and the federal government has to either get out in front of this and rewrite the books so that they can actually take control of this, or they need to write the laws to allow some amounts of drugs to go unchecked.
But when you look at who's really in charge here, it's the courts. It's not the federal government, because the federal government has said time and time again, we've heard from Peter MacKay, we've heard from Minister Blaney, they're against this. They are not in favor of harm reduction practices.
Yeah, but your premier...
And yet Insight gets the okay.
They certainly do, and have the support. Your premier, Christy Clark, has supported these. She uses the language to harm reduction. And I think she's basically, if I understand this, she's picked up the lingo of what these advocates say, even though I'm not sure all of it has been proven. It's just what they believe.
Exactly.
All right, so where does the story go from here? Because we know Insight, we know it's coming to Montreal, we know it's coming to Toronto, and bigger cities across Canada are going to be having these programs.
Yeah, and that's just the thing. It's going in the direction of more drugs on the street, more available places where you can just walk in and buy a crack pipe from a vending machine, which is, you know, what I did, and I didn't think that was something I was going to do. So unless people get in front of this or the federal government finds some way to interfere, we're going to be seeing a lot more of this across Canada, that's for sure.
And as you well know, people don't generally speak up until they show up in your backyard. So we might have a few cases of NIMBY coming across Canada in the next little while. Ada, we've got to leave it there.
Thanks, Alex.
Stay on the story. Thanks so much.